No alarm clock, no boss, no paycheck. And yet, every single day for hundreds of thousands of years, ancient humans worked harder than almost anyone alive today. There were no jobs. There was only survival. And survival never clocked out. This is one full day, sunrise to sunset to the dead of night, of the life nobody had a name for yet. The day does not start with a sound. It starts with light. There is no window, no curtain, no snooze button. The sun rises over the ridge, and the first gray light touches your face through the mouth of the cave. Your body wakes because it has to, because the fire from last night has burned down to a few glowing embers, and the cold is already creeping back in. The first task of the day is not breakfast. It is fire. You crawl to the embers and blow gently, feeding in dry grass, then twigs, until the flame catches again. This single act, keeping a fire alive one more day, is more important than anything else you will do before noon. Lose the fire, and you lose warmth, protection, and cooked food, all at once. While the fire builds, the camp begins to stir. There is no assigned schedule, but there is an unspoken order to things, shaped by thousands of repeated mornings. Someone checks the water. Someone checks the food stores from yesterday. Someone steps outside to read the sky, judging whether today is a hunting day or a gathering day. You are hungry, but not for long. Breakfast is whatever survived from yesterday. A strip of smoked meat, a handful of nuts, maybe wild fruit if the season allows it. There is no cooking show here, no recipe, just calories, eaten quickly, standing up. By the time the sun clears the horizon, the group is already splitting into tasks. Not because anyone assigned them, but because everyone already knows what needs doing. A small group, usually those with the most stamina, heads out to hunt. They move quietly, spears in hand, reading tracks in the dirt like a language. A snapped twig, a patch of disturbed grass, a scent on the wind. This is not brute force. It is pattern recognition sharpened by years of paying attention to a world that does not forgive carelessness. Another group, often including children old enough to walk long distances, heads in a different direction to gather. Roots, berries, edible leaves, insects when nothing else is available. This work looks quieter than the hunt, but it is not easier. Wild plants can heal you or kill you, and knowing the difference is a skill that takes years to learn, and one mistake to lose forever. Back at the camp, the day is far from empty for those who stay behind. Tools do not maintain themselves. A cracked spear point needs to be knapped again, flake by flake, until the edge is sharp enough to matter. A worn digging stick needs to be reshaped. A torn hide needs to be scraped, stretched, and softened for tomorrow's cold. Children are not idle either, not because anyone forces them to work, but because play and survival are the same thing here. A child throwing small stones at a target is practicing the exact motion a hunter will need in 10 years. A child watching an adult scrape a hide is memorizing a skill they will use for the rest of their life. There is no classroom. The camp itself is the classroom, every single day. As the sun climbs higher, the heat becomes its own opponent. Midday is not for heavy work. It is for shade, rest, and small repetitive tasks that do not require standing in direct sun. Weaving plant fiber into cord, sorting gathered food, checking children for ticks and small wounds picked up during the morning's work. This is also when knowledge moves between generations. An older member of the group might sit with a younger one, showing them how to tell a healing plant from a poisonous one by smell and shape alone. There is no written record. If it is not remembered, it does not exist. Every piece of knowledge that keeps this group alive lives only in the minds of the people sitting in this shade right now. By mid-afternoon, the hunting party is still out, and back at camp, worry starts to creep in, quiet but present. A hunt that takes too long could mean a difficult chase, an injury, or worse. Every person who leaves the camp carries that risk with them, and everyone left behind knows it. Then, movement on the ridge. The hunters are returning, and from the pace of their walk, you can already guess whether the day was successful. A slow, heavy walk with something carried between two people means good news. An empty-handed, quiet return means tonight's meal will be thinner than hoped. If the hunt succeeded, the next hours are consumed by butchering and processing. Nothing is wasted. Meat is divided. Hide is set aside for tomorrow's tools and clothing. Bone is saved for needles, awls, and weapons. Even the process of preparing food is itself a full group task, done together in the open, as the light starts to turn gold. As the sun lowers, the entire rhythm of the camp shifts. This is not downtime. It is the most socially important part of the day. The fire is built up again, not just for warmth, but as the center of everything that happens next. Food is shared first, always shared, because a group that eats together survives longer than a group that eats alone. Then come the stories. Not entertainment in the way you might think of it today, but survival information wrapped in memory. Which watering hole dried up last year? Which predator was seen near the ridge? Which mistake nearly cost someone their life? Every story told around this fire is also a lesson, disguised as entertainment, so that it will actually be remembered. As true darkness falls, the sky above the camp is not something to ignore. It is one of the only constant, reliable tools available. Patterns in the stars mark the passing of seasons, predict migrations, and mark time in a world with no calendars. A child lying on their back, staring upward, is not just resting. They are learning the sky the same way they learned the plants and the tracks, by watching again and again until the pattern becomes permanent knowledge. Not everyone sleeps at once. Someone stays awake, close to the fire, listening. The night is when the predators that avoided daylight become bold again. A rustle in the dark could be wind. It could be nothing. It could be everything. The watch rotates through the night, because a camp that is never watched is a camp that does not survive until morning. Eventually, one by one, bodies settle near the fire's warmth. There is no bed, no blanket beyond hide and each other's body heat. Sleep here is not rest from work. It is simply the body forcing a pause before tomorrow demands the exact same effort all over again. And that is the entire day. No job title, no shift change, no weekend. Just one unbroken chain of tasks that all point toward the same single goal: being alive tomorrow morning to do it all again. Here is the part almost nobody says clearly. There were no jobs back then, not because life was simple, but because life demanded everything, all the time, from everyone. The hunter was also a toolmaker. The forager was also a teacher. The child was also training for a role that would keep the entire group alive one day. Nobody had one job because everybody's job was the same job: survive today so there is a tomorrow to survive as well. That single, unbroken, exhausting rhythm, repeated for hundreds of thousands of days by hundreds of thousands of people who never once got a day off, is the reason you are alive to watch this video right now.